Welcome to This Week in High School Sports. I'm Teresa Whipple and Steve Willits. It's almost St. Patrick's Day.
Getting very close, and I
Yes.
noticed you had a hat waiting for me when I got in
I
today.
did.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
you're
I think.
welcome. Well, we have lots of spring sports news to talk about appropriately as we're getting close to St. Patrick's Day. But before we do that, we want to thank our sponsor, Carrie Krause. And Carrie wants you to know that regardless of the real estate transaction, she is here to help you 100%. So whether it's single-family residential, multifamily, condos, vacant land, commercial property, or even a business opportunity, Carrie can assist you. And even if she can't help, she will refer you to the best person for the job. Carrie takes pride in her work ethic and will go the extra mile to be sure that your buying or selling experience is positive. Call, text, or email anytime with questions or to get her working for you towards your real estate goals. So Steve, we have an interview coming up that you just conducted with a baseball coach.
Yeah, it's spring sports season, so we thought we'd bring Andrew Waters, longtime coach of the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, in to talk not only about his own team, but the rest of Wesco 3A South, which includes all 4 of our teams in the school district. Here's the interview. Coach Waters, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
I want to talk to you a little bit about your team, a Mountlake Terrace Hawks team that is always one of the top contenders. You made district playoffs last year. You graduated quite a few seniors, but you've got some talent coming back as well. Let's start off by talking about the pitching.
Okay. Yeah, we got, last year we relied on 4 seniors that threw a lot of innings, most of our innings, and with them graduating, we're looking for a new group to step up. So far it's been great. We have about 10 guys in the program that are performing and working hard to earn spots pitching. The top guys right now, Jack Fiorillo, a junior, has looked really good. Carson Dallas, who you remember from the basketball season, he has stepped up, and I'm excited to see what he can do. Jared Maxfield, who is also a junior. He's a right-hander, big right-hander that throws hard, so we're hoping for good things from him. And, you know, other than that, we have a couple seniors. Trent Brooks is going to pitch a little bit, and Tom Bennett is a senior that's going to help us in relief. And also have a group of sophomores that might get some time. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. So we're looking forward to getting started this week to throw them all out there and see what happens.
Yeah, you can never have enough pitching. Let's talk about the other side of the field now. Fielders and hitters. What are we looking at?
I'm excited about that part. I'm excited how we're hitting in practice, and that's an area that we do have some returners and some leadership. Drew Sears is in his 4th year, our shortstop, and he's a co-captain, and he's ready to go. We have Nolan Takea, who's back as our catcher. He also might help us with some pitching duties as well, so that's a real key returner. Adam Lorraine, a junior, is back for his 2nd varsity season, and he's really locking down center field for us, which is a key. Senior Alex Hussey at second base has just looked great so far, and he's going to be a real key player for us as we get going. And, you know, and then the rest of it, Jared Maxfield, who I mentioned as a pitcher, he's going to be one of our top hitters without a doubt. And then, you know, I'm excited not just for his pitching, but what he's going to do for us in the field is Carson Dallas. He's just a great athlete. He's a good example of having the 2-sport athletes. I think basketball did him a lot of good, and he just looks great out there, so I'm excited for him.
Yeah, we always like to see these young guys play multiple sports. All 4 of our teams in the district play in the same division. Certainly a lot of good coaches, as well as yourself, obviously, but the other 3 coaches very strong as well.
Yeah, and I would say this will be the 2nd year at Lynnwood for Fraser Desard, and he could have been Coach of the Year last year in our division if we had it. So he's really good and has quite a resume as a player and coming into the league.
A Meadowdale player, right? So a Meadowdale guy going to Lynnwood.
He played at Meadowdale. I remember coaching against him as a pitcher, and he was really good, a good left-hander. But so he's there at Lynnwood, and Bill Hummel back at Meadowdale, and he's been there a long time, and him and Coach Pavez there as assistant, they do a great job there. And Dan Somoza over at Edmonds-Woodway, he's been there quite a while now too, and he's got a great program going there. So, and everyone's had success.
Yeah, we're fortunate in this district to have a lot of good coaches, and it's no different at baseball. As far as the outlook for the division, I know Shorewood won the division last year in the regular season. Lynnwood then went on to win the district championship. Assuming we can expect to see both of those two teams contending again this year?
Yeah, I think so. They both have strong pitching, and they're both well coached. Whitman, the pitcher for Lynnwood, I think he's probably the top returning pitcher in the league.
And that's Jared Whitman, who's
Yeah.
only a junior this year.
Yeah, and he's really tough. So, Lynnwood's going to have a nice couple guys to throw out there on the hill, and Shorewood always has it. They lose a player like Oxnard, who was so good for them for years, but they always have the next guy ready to go in that program. So Shorewood will always be tough. They have a lot of talent there.
So I'm looking at your schedule coming up for the upcoming week, and it's always interesting when I look at schedules for Mountlake Terrace baseball, because so many times when we see that you're scheduled to play a road game, those road games often become home games. Case in point, you have a game scheduled to play at Kamiak this week on Tuesday. You follow that up with home games on Wednesday against Nahomish and Friday against Meadowdale. But you often become the home team by default because of the field you play on. Talk to us a little bit about the field at Mountlake Terrace High School.
Well, we're fortunate enough to have field turf, and it gives us a nice advantage, especially in early spring, and especially a year like this year where we have a lot of rain. It doesn't take long for things to dry out once the rain starts or stops. And Tuesday's a good example. We're scheduled at Kamiak, and there's always a chance that, if their field isn't playable that day, that we're going to move the varsity game over to our place. And so we'll see what happens with that. And, there's a lot of switching around of homes and aways in our series sometimes if the weather is bad, but everybody ends up getting their home games in one way or the other. It's just a matter of picking the dry day for the other fields, and so it's nice. And it's been a nice advantage this spring with the poor weather. We've had a lot of good quality practice time outside.
Not only for Mountlake Terrace, but the other teams in the district have been utilizing your field as well, correct?
Yeah, I know that Edmonds-Woodway and Meadowdale have both been out there a little bit, so they're getting an opportunity as well. And then we have two other schools that Shorecrest actually has a new field. Their field was redone, but they've always had turf in their infield at least, and Shorewood plays on the field turf. So in our South Division, it's a nice thing that we have that option as a league to utilize those fields and to get our games in, because baseball is a sport you don't want to get a backlog of too many games in a row, because you can't handle it with the pitching.
Sure, it's the Pacific Northwest and it's springtime. You never know what you're going to get. Coach Waters, thank you very much for coming on with us. Best of luck all season long. We'll be keeping up with Andrew's baseball team as well as the other teams in the area all throughout the year on This Week in High School Sports. Best of luck to you.
Thank you, Steve.
It's always great when spring sports rolls around, but we have a little basketball business to finish up with, don't we?
We do. In fact, Mikayla Pivec, we have a picture of her right there. Never gets old talking about Mikayla Pivec, right?
No.
And there's always something to talk about. Mikayla was named the Gatorade Washington State Player of the Year for the second consecutive year. This year is given to the best basketball player in the state of Washington. And really, it's an accomplishment and an award that recognizes not only your achievements on the court, but also academically. And they also look to recognize a player that shows exemplary character. And Mikayla, as we both have come to know, displays all of those. 4.0 student, certainly what she's done on the basketball court has been amazing, and we could not be happier for her. So congratulations, Mikayla.
Yeah, she has also been very active in community service.
Absolutely.
And she was in the studio a few weeks ago when we interviewed her, and you and I have talked about this, but she is the most mature, articulate player I think I've ever come across. She was just really something else. So congratulations to her.
I'm a diehard Washington Husky sports fan, and I will become a Oregon State Beaver basketball fan for the next 4 years because of
Right.
Mikayla. I
Right.
want to see her just exceed all of her expectations. It'll
Yeah.
be fun to watch.
Yeah, she will be really fun to watch. All right, so, and more basketball action. You were at the NWAC tournament this weekend,
Yeah,
right?
the Everett Community College is hosting the NWAC tournament. These are the community colleges from the states of Washington and Oregon. Every year they have a tournament to determine their champions for boys and girls, or I should say men and women. We're talking college now as opposed to high school, so they changed the verbiage. And they had the top 8 teams for girls and boys, men and women. And a couple of our players were actually playing over there. Monty Cooper from Lynnwood High School, she now plays at Centralia, and her team made it to the quarterfinals. Monty, of course, no stranger to championships. She won a state championship with Lynnwood last year. Her team got knocked out in the quarterfinals. However, Monty, through the first half of that game, I think her team had 27 at the half, and she had 13 of their points. So having a great season down there. And then Jason Smar, who we all know from not only his days at Edmonds-Woodway High School, but also Jason's father, Jeff, does a lot of our sports reporting on
does.
My Edmonds News. Jason, his Shoreline Community College team didn't make the tournament, but Jason was named to the All-Star team, which is a very nice honor, and he got to play in an All-Star game Thursday night, which was fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good, nice to hear Jason is doing well. All right, and now the appropriate segue, soccer season kicking off. I've been waiting to say that for a while.
It did indeed kick off on Saturday. All 4 of our teams in action, 3 of which coming away with either a tie or a victory. Start off with Edmonds-Woodway. They defeated Inglemoor 1-0. Ahmed with the only goal of the game for Edmonds-Woodway, so congratulations to the Warriors. Lynnwood also defeating Newport 1-0. Riley Johnson scoring the lone goal there. Mountlake Terrace played Ballard on Saturday. Fell behind in the second half of that game before tying it up 1-1. Should mention that a freshman, Benjamin Forder, had the only goal for the Hawks with about 6 minutes to go in the match. And we also have some action shots from that game as Nate Cockbane, there he is up on the screen there, going up against one of the Ballard Beeves. And then Austin Burton in another shot. And there's Austin right there doing his best in that game. So good luck to the Hawks this year. And Ballard, a team that was in the Final Four last year, so not a bad,
Pretty
not a bad
impressive,
draw
actually.
for that team right
Yeah.
there. And then unfortunately, Meadowdale also played and lost to Cedar Woolley, but it's early, so we'll see how the Mavs do this year.
Okay, and we have a variety of spring sports starting this week. Tennis, track, all of those are going
Golf,
on, right?
yeah,
Golf,
softball,
yeah.
it's all coming up. Softball had
They had a jamboree.
basically
right?
kicked off with a jamboree this week. There's so many things going on this week, so we certainly encourage folks to go to westcoathletics.com to find the schedules. Girls golf starting off on Monday, and the reason I mention that is because all 4 of those teams will be at the Nile Country Club nearby, a chance to see all 4 teams at one time. That's Monday, and again, everybody else pretty much kicking off their seasons this week. A lot of non-conference action as teams start to slowly work their way into this, the season and into their schedules. Next week, we'll really get into to Wesco play and start to see some of our teams going up against each other.
Yeah, well, and fingers crossed for those sports that are weather dependent that we get some sunshine so that they can actually get their games in.
Yeah, it's been a rough March so far. I know the forecast is calling for some sunshine this week, so we certainly hope to get those games in. And best of luck to all of our teams that are playing this year. It should be a fun season.
Yes, it really should. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.